My name is Shaheen Hoda. I'm founder of X-Growth and also Growth Colony. Show of hands, how many people have been, so there are new faces here, but how many of you have been to Growth Colony before? Show of hands. One person. That's awesome. We've got a lot of new faces. That's amazing. Alright, so I'll explain quickly what Growth Colony is. Growth Colony is a community that we put together of marketers, growth hackers, growth marketers, you name it. Anything that has to do with growth and marketing, we cover. Every month we bring experts in on a whole range of topics. LinkedIn ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn organic reach, B2B trends, you name it, we cover them. And the whole purpose of it is to basically bring growth marketing community here in Melbourne together and share and benefit. So, on that note, too quickly, right, I want to also thank our sponsors. So, Academy Excite, you're here. They have been one of the biggest supporters of ours and providing a lot of support throughout the journey of Growth Colony for the past year or so. We're very grateful. X-Growth is another sponsor of the community, a B2B growth marketing, really focusing on helping other businesses grow through account-based marketing. Those are the sponsors, and we'll jump in to the event of tonight. So, tonight we're listening to Luke Marshall. Luke is the group account director, if I'm not mistaken, at Tiger Pistol. Now, how many people have heard of Tiger Pistol before? Show of hands. Yep, we've got a couple of hands up there. So, if you don't know about Tiger Pistol, if you go to Facebook and you say, I want to do marketing, Facebook marketing, who's the best person, who's the best company in Australia to go to, they're going to point you to Tiger Pistol. Alright? And Luke, if you cut him, he bleeds blue, right? He knows Facebook inside out. So you are probably going to hear from one of the best Facebook marketers in Australia. No joke in that. So on that note, I'm going to hand it over to Luke. Please welcome to the stage.
Well, how do you follow up from that sort of introduction? I don't know if I can, but I'll aim to please tonight. That's the very best I could do. Before I start and get tucked into this descriptive subject header here, I just wanted to get a show of hands. Who would say they're fairly new to Facebook marketing? Cool. Who would say they're intermediates? They've got some level of experience with Facebook marketing. Great. And who's an expert? Okay, we got one over there. Alright, so that helps me because I can go very deep into the weeds and sort of give you a lot of technical knowledge, but based off my read on the room, my understanding is that we've got some basic, got some intermediate knowledge, so I'll tailor my message or my delivery accordingly. Can everyone hear me okay? Yep. Great, excellent. Let's get started. So, a bit about me. I've worked in digital marketing for around 11 or so years. I've worked in agencies across Melbourne, Sydney and Singapore. And most notably, I guess, worked at two of the tech companies. So I was lucky enough to start my journey at tech companies at Google Singapore, worked in the creative team there for 2.5 years, and joined Facebook Melbourne maybe 4 years ago as a client partner working in the FMCG category. I've touched clients such as BMW, L'Oreal, P&G, Asahi and Microsoft to name a few. But don't let that deter you. I also know what it's like to talk to little guys. I've consulted in the past, and I also I work with clients, all big and small, I guess is the point I'm trying to make there as well. But now I'm at Tiger Pistol as a group account director, really enjoying it. Tiger Pistol has offices in the US, about 50 people in the US, and then another 50 in Australia as well. So we work with a number of clients and help them with predominantly social and Google ads. And one of our clients is on the list there, Asahi Premium Beverages. So what we'll cover off today, I want to talk about how Facebook and Instagram are a performance marketing tool. I want to talk about local for brands and how that approach can work for both national and global marketers. I want to talk to you about how we can integrate data. So what I mean by that is it's very hard to justify Facebook or social as a marketing expense. I've got a few tips and strategies on how we can do that as marketers to help alleviate that challenge and address that story. And then I also want to talk about what Tiger Pistol has learned, some rough and ready tips that you'll be able to leave today with and take yourself as well. So the first sort of topic that I want to address is Facebook and Instagram as performance marketing channels. So what do I mean by performance marketing? Can anyone guess? What was that one? No, I heard things. There's no one over there. So I'll take the pain out of it for you. What I mean when I define performance marketing is using paid marketing for a measurable and tangible business outcome. So you may have heard of brand marketing or more general-based marketing. That has a more broad challenge in making people aware of a product or service. When I talk performance marketing, I mean putting X amount of dollars in and getting Y amount of dollars back. And Facebook or social, I'll use the terms interchangeably between Facebook, social, and Instagram, can deliver a tangible business outcome if you know what you're doing. So that's what I mean by performance marketing. And building on that, social media drives business outcomes. So I challenge to any business that you've got in the room here, and we'll go through a few examples. Facebook or social can definitely help your business. Social media or Facebook and Instagram combined reach 80% of the online audience in Australia. This platform is where a large amount of people are spending inordinate amounts of times on their mobile phone. You look when you travel on a public transport, so on a train or a bus, how many people are looking down their phones. Chances are they're looking at Facebook, Instagram, or another social platform. And with that amount of time spent, it's remiss of us not to point out that you can get business outcomes from that as well. But don't take my word for it. I used to sell Facebook for a living, so don't take my word for it. Let's go through some examples that sort of talk to this. My point here is that it can drive results at any stage of the category, for any category at any stage of the funnel. So does everyone know what I mean by funnel? Or we've got a couple of nods, a couple of shakes of the head. So in its basic terms, a funnel is sort of anyone that takes anyone along on a journey. So it can start sort of the awareness stage, so top of the funnel and making people aware of a product. And then once they're aware, the next stage of the funnel is generally a consideration sort of stage. So once someone's aware, they can particularly engage or interact with an ad or become aware of it and move further down the funnel. And then down the bottom of the funnel is a conversion or sales goal. So that's generally the journey that we take on when we look at digital marketing and the approach that we should be using for social as well. So let's talk through some real world examples. If you're a real estate advertiser and you're looking to sell a piece of property, we actually work with clients that we provide listings with our platform and we distribute them at a local level, and we know that this drives traffic to the page where the properties are sold and actually helps sell property. Now I'll talk through a case study in a bit later, but real estate's an example of a category that probably isn't using social to its full capacity, and one that we're working with actively to sort of help realise that social can drive performance outcomes. A large makeup brand. So in my other roles that I've worked in the past, I worked with a large makeup brand. One of the things that we can do, or did, was track exposure to ad on Facebook through to someone visiting a store, through to point of sale data being recorded. So person sees ad, person buys makeup, and then connecting that journey on Facebook. So you might not know this, POS data or point of sale data, people part of loyalty or reward schemes. You can match that email address with the POS data to someone being on Facebook. It's got about a 70 or 80% match rate and measured uplift in sales. So the large makeup brands or FMCG advertisers, you might have heard of Woolworths Rewards or Coles Flybuys. That data is invaluable for Facebook advertising, and the best Facebook marketers out there are using that data ruthlessly. Trust me, because I used to be one of them. But they're big brand examples. I want to talk about how this could potentially be used for local service, like a cafe or a bar. So I think this is an underutilized opportunity, and I'll talk to this actually repeatedly throughout the presentation. If Facebook is used correctly or optimally, it is almost second to none for the return on investment you can get with your marketing dollars. Now, hands up who's on Instagram? Yeah, most of us. Hands up who's seen a picture of brunch on Instagram? Yeah? I'm guilty of posting those a lot. Follow me at Marsha, I'll include it at the end of the presentation. But it's all organic. It's all organic. And the amount of exposure you get from organic posts on Instagram is limited. Now I'm here to talk to you about the power of local area marketing. So imagine if you were a savvy cafe owner, say you had a cafe in Elwood. Without much sophistication, you can actually spend, say, $100, $200 a month, advertise with a radius of, say, 5 kilometres within the cafe, within proximity to the cafe, and then anyone that views or interacts with your content on Instagram, you can then retarget with an offer or a menu or a call to action to come in for coffee, or just making them aware of the prices, or just making them aware of the good food photos that you've got in a way that has cut through. Yet, 9 times out of 10, or even 99 times out of 100, cafes and bar owners and everything will post content organically, which has limited reach and just doesn't drive the performance outcome that you need. But it's a greenfields opportunity. There's so much potential if you know how to use the platform to its potential. So that's one there. But they're examples I came up with, and I don't want to just talk at you all night. Who's got a business or an agency? Yeah, first hand up in the room. So what sort of business do you run?
A picnic business.
A picnic business, great. How long has it been running for?
It's about to launch in New Zealand, about to launch in Melbourne.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on the expansion. So picnic business, so that's like picnic campers that you can...
Yeah, pretty to eat.
And you've got a website?
Yes.
Are you advertising on social?
Well, this is all kind of one.
Yeah, excellent. So let's brainstorm this. So you've got a picnic business expanding from New Zealand to Melbourne. First thing I'd do is, have you got a database?
Yes.
Yep, so you've got a database of customers from New Zealand?
And Melbourne.
And Melbourne, great. So one thing you can do with Facebook and Instagram marketing is upload that database as a custom audience into Facebook, add radius targeting to Melbourne. With that database, you can target that database, which will be talking to people who are already aware of you. What you might not know is that you can run a lookalike. So match an audience of your database against the platform and get people who look like your customers on Facebook and Instagram. If you overlay some radius targeting, you don't want to advertise to people in Sydney yet, so yeah, soon. So but radius targeting around Melbourne and picnic business, social would go gangbusters on that. And then build on that, if you're sending people to your website, I'd retarget them as well. So that's one example. We got one more before I move on? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a wallpaper business.
Wallpaper?
Yeah,
great.
In the houses.
Yeah.
I use Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
A lot, and I post in groups as well, like people get homeowners and people with new homes in the outer suburbs and do it, right? Yeah. But what I've seen with Facebook is that because I've done a bit of advertisement, like spend that $20, target a areas like western suburbs or northern suburbs. So Facebook says, yeah, spend $15 and you reach like 3,000 people. And obviously I put the age, name of the suburb and everything. But I haven't seen that type of like, obviously it says up to 3,000 people, but it reaches like around 1,500 people, and I don't know what, like those 1,500 people were interested and all that stuff.
Yeah, great. So, so it builds on that. One, I'd be, what are you offering them? So, what sort of creative or what ads are you messaging them with? Second build on that is targeting. So, radius targeting is just one element of what you could do. What you could do is a broader radius video targeting. So, you know, introducing the video, introducing the search service. If anyone watches that video more than 3 seconds, or say to 95%, retarget them because they've showed qualified interest, and then pay big dollars to hit them because they've watched the video to that completion, and then see how you go. But the trouble is, you said it yourself, you put money up there, it doesn't work, and then you might have given up on it. And the point I'm trying to stress is that with a bit more sophistication and understanding of how you can use the platform, Facebook will help any business. So, how we approach it with the local for brands presence with Tiger Pistol. So, I'm now talking sort of more about national and sort of larger scale marketers, but this is the game that large marketers play. They run their national marketing activity, and so is everyone else. Everyone else is playing this national game. They'll target, you know, a particular state. They'll target Australia-wide. They'll overlay some targeting, and as you can see, it's very cluttered here. Now, Tiger Pistol embraces a local for brands approach, and so what we mean by that is we're going to go local, but we're going to attack national advertisers in a way that realizes that. And so, the way we do that is, you know, there's a number of ways we do it. One's running like an agency style service. Another one's our platform, which I'll build on a bit later. But we know this works. It's harder. It's much harder to advertise locally, especially at scale. But we know the results that we get helps us compete with these big guys. Because we're not as big as the big guys, but we're punching above our weight. Actually, little sidebar. Does anyone know the story of the Tiger Pistol shrimp? No? Okay. Tiger Pistol generates a disproportionate amount of sound relative to its size. So it's actually one of the loudest animals on Earth, and it's only this big. So that's the approach that we like to take as well. But does the local approach to marketing work? So I read Reddit from time to time. I browse a few of the subreddits. This was one from March, just recently. So I'll read it out for those of you who are near the back. So why local services? Frankly, there is a ton of money to be made. These are huge markets in terms of dollars. However, unlike regular e-commerce companies where you are competing with the best internet marketing people in the world, with local services you're competing with just the people in your neighbourhood, most of whom do not understand internet marketing at all. So I go back to this analogy with, this is where the best internet marketers in the world are, and then there's us. It's almost an unfair advantage, and I'm sharing this information with you today. So what we've learned about local advertising and why it works. One, it drives relevance by being specific to the prospect. So if you see the location within the page, and you're acknowledging where the user is and having a bit of relevancy like that, that really helps. It enables national and global advertisers to empower operations to activate Facebook and Instagram while maintaining control. So with our technology, if you're a national advertiser like McDonald's, you've got all these local restaurants. What we can do with our technology is orchestrate a solution that enables the local restaurants to advertise, but we control it at a national level. You can pass custom audiences from national to local, so between each other. So say you run a national campaign, and then you want it to funnel to the local activation, you can do that as well. But this is the biggest point, or the one that's hottest for me at the moment. The CPMs, or the cost, are typically half the cost that you'd see at a national level. So if you do that with all the local locations at scale, you're effectively halving your marketing cost on Facebook and Instagram, which is pretty cool. So that sounds great. How do I do it? Well, there's a number of ways you can do it, laddering up from the basic to the more higher levels of sophistication. I thought I'd walk through a few of them. So you might not be aware of this if you're new to Facebook, but what Facebook and Instagram enable you to do in Facebook Ads Manager is radius targeting. So I've just picked a completely random location that says 45 Exhibition Street, Melbourne. And I've added a 1 kilometre radius around this location. And the potential reach is 1 million people, which doesn't surprise me. CBD does get rather busy. This is over a certain period of time. You know, it's an okay way to advertise, like if we were looking to get people around this vicinity, but it doesn't let you have multiple locations, so it's hard to scale. And it doesn't let you test multiple versions. Like you can split different ads, but if you added multiple locations, it'd be very hard to test or add an A/B/C testing methodology across multiple locations if you had them. So that's one way to advertise. Great for like events or conferences or relevancy, but I want to build on this. I want to show you a better way to do it. So exclusion targeting is a way to get more granular with your targeting, and you can do this within meters. So I've kept the 45 Exhibition Street Melbourne location here, and what I've done is drop some pins around the location. So this is now within a few blocks of Academy Z, and we're reaching just a third of the people that I was reaching before. So just a little trick there in terms of adding a bit more granularity to your targeting. You can also upload a list of locations. So say you had a number of addresses, which, let's use an example, say you're a Subway and you wanted to advertise to all the Subway stores, you can actually upload the locations into Facebook, and Subway can advertise at a national scale, but at each pinpointed location at a default radius of their choosing. So that's generally what you can do with multiple locations on Facebook and Instagram. You can get granular with it, you can tailor creative, but the difference between managing 5 locations and the difference between managing, say, 1,000 locations, it can get pretty tricky pretty quickly. So that's where Tiger Pistol technology steps in. Tiger Pistol is a Facebook marketing partner and sits over the top of Facebook and enables you to orchestrate a localized ad campaign for each location. The best part is you can set it up here and then push it to all these locations at once and enable testing, customization, dynamic copy, and all sorts of other good things that enable global and national advertisers to advertise at scale really quickly. So that's our niche and sort of where we've made our bread and butter. Some of the benefits of this is that you can deploy campaigns really quickly. You can tailor the ads very creatively. National has visibility on what local is doing. And from a reporting perspective, say you're a franchisee at Subway Sale, you want to know how Subway Sale performs, not how Subway Traralgon performs. So you can tailor the reporting dash by that. So that's what we do. Our ideal customer, I mentioned a few of them, is generally retailers, any national advertiser with a local presence, and that's how we work. But I want to impart you with information about that will help you. So let's talk about using data to help show you how your ads work. Now, how can you track this? These are the 2 basic methods of measuring your digital marketing efforts. So one is post-click, one is post-view. Hands up, who thinks post-click is the best way of measuring? Few hands up in the room. Hands up who thinks post-view is the best way of measuring. Hands up who doesn't know. Okay, cool. It is a trick question, so you're wise to Fred babies hold fire. The answer is neither one is better than the other. They work in collaboration, but what we find is that a lot of platforms, Google Analytics included, over-index or over-rely on the click. So say, I'll give you an example to help paint a picture. Say you're a car brand. Say you ran a YouTube ad, you showed an ad that was seen on Facebook 8 times, then you went to Google and clicked on the ad to register a test drive for a Ford. Now, which part of the advertising journey is the most valuable? Is it the YouTube? Is it the Facebook ads that were seen 8 times? Or was it the last click on the Google ad? Any guesses? Yeah, all of the above. But if you're reading Google Analytics or a report that's emphasizing clicks, it'll say the Google ad worked the best. And that's all you get. It doesn't tell the full story. So when we look at attribution and when we look at measuring the performance of our Facebook activity, if people are seeing all your Facebook ads, then do you use Google Ads, sir, as well?
Yeah, I have done once or twice.
Yeah.
But then kind of more expensive as well.
It's expensive,
Because people click it and then they go to the website. And
Facebook and Google work really well together. So Facebook is further up. If I'll scroll quickly. Facebook is how quickly that quickly pre-intent. So it's more at the awareness and consideration stage, whereas Google Ads are more intent-based. So when someone's searching for something on Google, they know what they want. Someone's scrolling through the feed on Facebook, they're less sure about what they want, but maybe we can tell them what they might want. And that's how it works. So that's the measurement problem that we've got here. There's more to measuring digital marketing than clicks, however. So measuring the full impact of that activity is tricky. If we look at simply post-click, we're missing out a full story. Coming back to that story of the person that saw the ad 8 times on Facebook, we're missing that part. So how do we get around this as a marketer? I just led into my slide. So there's one testing methodology known as geo-testing. So say you're a national advertiser and you're advertising across Australia as, say, a beer brand. Now, you know Facebook ads work, but you're not sure how much they work. One way, and it's really low tech, but it's a way of measuring your sales here, and then excluding a state, and then measuring your sales in the state. The uplift that you get from the activity in the states where you did advertise versus the average in sales where you didn't advertise, that's going to show whether Facebook worked or not. It's crude, but it's a good way of looking under the data and seeing how that could work. Conversion lift. So I warned you that I may get a bit technical here. Conversion lift is a property that enables Facebook to measure the effectiveness of ads scientifically. So what I mean by this is, say you're an advertiser and you've got a whole marketing suite, so you're advertising on TV, billboards, newspapers, and Facebook. What you can do is do a holdout group on Facebook that doesn't see the ads, and then have an exposed group that does see the ads. Then conversion lift measures the people who didn't see the ads versus the people who did see the ads, and then measures the uplift, which is known as conversion lift. That's about as technical as I'm going to get. Apologies if you didn't understand that. I can answer a bit more afterwards. Another testing methodology, particularly around local, which I really, really like, is footfall visits. So say you're advertising around certain premises, you will have an average rate of footfall. There's tracking that can do this. Google Analytics is starting to open this up. Facebook explores it at a certain scale. Or if you're a business owner, you get a feel for how many footfall or how much foot traffic is going to a store on average. If you have a big enough set of data and measure the uplift in footfall based off the offer or the advertising you've done, that's another way of measuring it. Now, I did lie 2 slides ago. I did say I was going to get, that was as technical as I'm going to get. I just want to talk about one other technical thing that you can do, which I hinted at earlier with the makeup brand, but I want to build on it a bit more. It's called offline event conversion. So with offline event conversion, you can set up an advertising campaign, and then track if someone's gone into store and purchased something. And the way you do that, you can do it yourself if you've got the sophistication as a Facebook marketer, is upload a data set into Facebook. Just needs to be set up the right way, and then attribute the data that you got. So say it was registrations for a test drive, and then you can track exposure to ad and person on Facebook and attribute a value as well. So very technical, very sophisticated, and when you come back to the post-click versus post-view, it actually doesn't matter, because if we close the loop and track the person who has committed the sale with data, we can marry that back into Facebook. So that's about as much into the weeds as I want to get. What we've learned along the way as Facebook and Instagram marketers. So what local area marketing can deliver is more cost-effective campaigns. Like I said, when you're advertising at a national level, you're competing with the big sharks or the big fish in the pool. When you're advertising at a local level, it can be more cost-effective and easier and more efficient if you do it in the right way. Second thing, it grabs the attention of other departments of a client's business. We found this with our own marketing. So if you're an agency and you're talking to a marketing team, they know the score. They know how it works. They're like, yeah, cost per click, or you do this much reach, or this is what I got as a business result, I get it. But what we've found is when we start talking about local area marketing and delivering local at scale and more cost-efficient ways of doing business, it opens up conversations with other departments within a business. It opens up conversations with procurement. You can say you can deliver marketing at half the cost, procurement's going to listen. Trade marketing, so sales or account managers are always looking for excuses to talk to retailers or their businesses. We've helped them orchestrate those conversations by advertising at a local level. Sales teams love it as well. Salespeople always love new things to talk about, and the C-suite as well tends to lean in. It also creates a point of difference from other approaches to paid advertising. When you're advertising at a national level, you're in that big pool, you're competing with everyone. The point of difference with local advertising enables you to give you something new to talk about, and a new, harder to execute, but much more worthwhile approach. So how to apply it best? Say I've delivered this presentation, you've gone, great, I want to do some local area marketing. What are the 3 things I need to know? Well, fortunately I put them on a slide for you. 1, combine national with your local activity, or even regional with local activity. And by that I mean, it works best when it's in tandem. So warm up an audience, whether that's with a video ad, with an awareness ad, with something that gathers their attention and that you can capitalize on and take them further down the funnel. Then, build engagement audiences. So we like to use video a lot for this. You can track on Facebook or Instagram if someone's viewed an ad or a video for a set amount of time, and then re-message them accordingly. We know video is a large section of the social media spectrum. We know it's a large portion of the internet. You're missing a trick if you're not using video. And then tailor and localize your campaign based on the radius that you're targeting with to have more impact. So say you're advertising in Carlton. Acknowledge you're in Carlton. Acknowledge that the creative needs to look like Carlton. You know, don't show a picture of a beach. There's no beaches in Carlton. The more you tailor and acknowledge your audience and where you're at, the better the marketing will be. So I mentioned how we've worked with real estate agents in the past. One of our clients is LJ Hooker. We ran a national campaign linked to a local campaign on our platform. What this did was deliver a 7-point lift in local brand awareness. So people who were advertised to locally were 7% more likely to be aware of LJ Hooker locally, which is a really big lift. 3-point lift in brand consideration, we reached 7.2 million people in 3 months, which is a great campaign for a relatively small amount of spend compared to TV. But the biggest measure, the one that we're most proud of, is that 18x return on ad spend. So for every dollar they put in, they got $18 back in revenue, which is a really significant return for a campaign that was executed well. I've asked you a few questions throughout the presentation. You've been a very attentive audience. Is there any last questions before we move to networking? Yeah?
How do you measure brand recognition?
Yep. So we use the Facebook brand poll study. So you might have seen them on Facebook where you poll the audience before they've seen the ad and then after they've seen the ad. And then you measure the results of the uplifts off the back of that. No worries. Yeah? Oh, okay. Yeah, so conversion lift, you've got audience that was exposed to the ad on Facebook, and audience that wasn't exposed to the ad. Yeah, so it's called a holdout group. And then you measured the uplift between those who saw it versus those who didn't. So that could be measured via conversions, sales, revenue, any sort of targeted sort of metric.
Can you do that within the same radius?
You could, but the scale isn't there. Because if you've got a holdout group, you need a certain level of certain size to measure for it to be statistically significant. So there's a bit of a challenge there. And in the US, it's a lot easier because it's 10 times the size. Here, we're not quite at that scale yet. Yes?
Look, we briefly touched on it when the gentlemen were talking about the wallpaper business, and you asked about what kind of offer that you had in your ad, right? And in the in the last slides, you also talked about engagement. Can you talk a little bit about how to structure a Facebook ad? Because I think a lot of people, when they think about Facebook ads or in general ads going on the platform, they think about it as like one message. I've got, I want to close these people, and I want to, get these leads, or drive foot traffic. So I put an ad out that says, "Come to my business," or drop your email. Can you maybe expand a little bit about that funnel that you talked about and how those connect to each other, and even maybe we could relate it to the wallpaper example.
Yeah, and just before you answer, actually, that is. When I put an ad, I really get excited, right?
Yeah. Put money in, hope
2,000 people will be reaching at least 10% get converted. That's 200 people. I think you'll get 20.
Just printing money.
That's what. So that's what. Like when I said to you, like I put like $50 or $500. I don't think it might be a Facebook mistake. It could be I'm not doing it the right way, right?
What was that note? What was the message on the ad? What were
for
you
example, like on the wallpaper, it's kind of people can relate to it. So what we do is we put pictures of wallpapers on the walls of various people's houses.
No, I get you. But let's talk about the ad specifically.
So
what were you telling people to do?
We actually put that wallpaper for your homes and offices. We put a special offer down there, like 25% off, and also like enhance your living spaces in 2019. And and we put like kids' room with beautiful wallpapers and like how the hallways and living rooms get converted. So we put about like 10 pictures over there and put a bit of a brief note, right? So people get that message that this is what we are talking about and everything.
Cool. So I'll talk to that, and I'll talk in terms of a hypothetical. So. Imagine you're in your own newsfeed, and you're scrolling through, and maybe you're on your commute, because that's where a lot of people like to scroll. You see some baby photos, because your friends love posting photos of your babies. You see some wedding photos, because they do really well on Facebook and Instagram. You see someone from a night out who's started his night early, and then you see an ad, buy wallpaper now. Can you see how that's interrupting the experience? So when you think about the position you're in on Facebook, you are interrupting someone's feed experience for a chance to talk to them about something that might be relevant to them. And so when you frame it like that, do you think going in straight away and saying buy wallpaper now is going to be the best approach?
We put us like
Oh no,
contact us
I'm not having a go. It's more hypothetical. So a better approach, or one that might acknowledge that experience, is okay. So scrolling through the feed, and there's a video, and it's got entertaining at a house, or it's got homeowners, and it's got people putting wallpaper up, and it's got something about your interest in wallpaper. Now, not every people are going to scroll past that ad, but the people who don't qualify, well, they've shown a bit of interest, and what can you do with them then? You can, you've shown an interest in me. I can talk about this more. I can engage with you further, and you can tailor your message accordingly. For more information on this, I'd look up, converting cold versus warm versus hot traffic. Cold traffic is very hard to convert straight off the bat, but if you warm them up by letting them show intent signals, or engaging with them in a way that they've already invited you to, that can be a really powerful method. But it's not. It's very different to Google Ads, where if someone's searching for wallpaper, it's expensive, but they know they're searching for wallpaper. It's a different style of journey. Cool. Yeah.
I guess just how do you maximize video ads if we're doing more local sort of targeting?
Yeah, I actually mentioned video a lot, probably too much, but it is really powerful. So if you're going to the effort of paying for ads on Facebook and Instagram, you should commit as much effort into that as the production of the ads as well. So there's local videographers out there you can do. There's tools out there like Canva and other tools that help you create videos. Facebook even has a tool that lets you do a slideshow if you're in a pinch. But the video production should be there because just as an extra element for that awareness part of the funnel. Yeah.
But I mean, like, if it's more targeted towards the local audience,
Yeah.
so what are some key points that we should take note when, be it like you're producing the video or just like advertising the video, like the copy or the content?
Yeah. So local advertising, any video on the platform, get your branding up front. So in the first 3 seconds, they need to know what you're doing. Make it contextually relevant. So if it's the local area, have shots of the local area. 3, if it's social, you don't want it any longer than 15 seconds, unless they've shown interest. So you can have longer videos if they've already engaged, but that 6 to 15 second window seems to be the sweet spot for social video when you're looking to get them aware. Cool. Yeah?
So when it comes to somebody viewing an ad, say an image ad, you talk about image views.
Yeah.
So how long, and you were talking about people scrolling past and then somebody stops.
Yeah.
What's the time?
Yeah.
That, like what's that time frame?
It's less than, I think it's about half a second that people will scroll past the content through. An impression, which it needs to be over a second for it to qualify as an impression. And then for a video, it has to be at least 3 seconds. Yeah.
And how many ads would you say? It's obviously different with everything, but for your standard buyer's journey of top of the funnel range stage right down to trying to close the sale, how many different sets of ads, retargeting?
Oh, right, obviously, it's how long is a piece of string? I'd say you'd want a minimum of 3. Yeah. Like, if you've got an awareness message, a click message or an engagement message, and then a sale message, they need to be different messages. So the funny thing about the feed that I was talking about earlier, people scroll through 1,500 pieces of content per day. You really need to cut through that for that to have impact. Yeah?
Sorry, just on the impression, the 1 second impression, is that just looping, that
Just looking, yeah.
Going through and just having a quick look. Yeah, I may or may not be interested.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and that's just a reporting metric that, so say you saw a banner on the age, that'd be similar impression as well. Yeah, cool.
Just quickly the funnel.
Yeah.
The three phases was an awareness, message, and click.
Awareness, consideration, and then conversion or consent. Yeah.
Thank you. That's it.
You're welcome. Yeah. We'll cover even one more question, I think. Yeah.
Probably just a quick one.
Yeah.
You were talking about Facebook being pre-intent and Google Ads
Yeah.
post-intent. Would Instagram and Facebook be on a similar pre-intent, or would one come
one over the other? Yeah, I'd probably say Instagram's more pre-intent, like it's more top of the funnel. You can buy stuff on Instagram, shop now, and things like that, but it spends more time up here. It's more where people curate their Instagram, they go there to be entertained. They're very specific about how they use their Instagram, which I'd say is further up the funnel. Facebook, people are used to being retargeted. They might, engage based on visiting a website, mid-funnel. And then Google Ads, bottom of the funnel. Like you can definitely, when someone's searching for something that they're ready to go. Cool. I'm happy to answer more questions offline, but thanks very much for all the engagement. I really enjoyed it.